Hello? 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 Can you hear me? I don't know. There's only three of us here. What's going on? Oh, I don't know. Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Oh, God, look at these wrinkles. Blimey. Hey, Mr. Kev. There's nine of us in here. All right, well, look, I'm going to get started. Um, Today's session is about Italy and Abyssinia. Um, why was Abyssinia a cause for the Second World War? That's what we're going to be looking at. Those of you that had your lesson today know we already did some of the causes. Today we did three of them. We did three. We did three in class. That's six. Three. My bad. And this one will make your fourth one. Memorize it. The exam question comes up about one of the causes of the Second World War. No problem. You've got these as a bank to back it up. The other ones, I'll go through the other ones probably next session or a little session next week. So we're going to do Abyssinian Crisis. If we've got time, we do Manchurian Crisis just because they link together. My other class, tomorrow, we're going to catch up to where my students left off, the 11B class today. Okay? All right, everyone. I'll be keeping an eye out on what you guys are doing in the chat. So make sure you sort yourselves out. Don't get yourself in trouble. Otherwise, we've got double yellows tomorrow. Oh, good. Okay. So Abyssinian Crisis. First of all, can you not even see my eyes? Oh my gosh, glaring in here. It's amazing. Right. First of all, we need to work out what was Italy. What was Italy? Okay. So let me just pause this music. I don't even know if you lot can hear it, but whatever. Um, After the First World War, the people of Italy turned against their government. They said, "We've had enough of this. You guys don't know what you want. Are you coming or you're going?" And they turned to a more fascist form of government, a similar type of government to that of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. Okay, um, and a man named Benito Mussolini seized power. He's the one that decided he was going to take charge of this country, and he gained power in the country in 1922. So, from 1922 until the early 1930s, Italy went through a nice bit of a boom time, similar to that of America. But then, from the once it hit 1930s, the depression began. We all know about Wall Street crash. The depression, Wall Street crash, also affected Italy. Yeah. Um, so Mussolini needed to galvanize the Italian people and get them all involved, get them supporting him again. So what he decided he was going to do is he decided he was going to impress the people of Italy by saying he's going to build a new Roman Empire, right? Um, and the first place he was going to start off with in growing this new empire was a place in northeast Africa called Abyssinia. So that's the place. That is the place. That is what we're looking at today. A place in northeast Africa. Alfie Twilly, it's not common new Spurs, son. It's common new history. Only joking. Okay. So today, Abyssinia is in a country also known as Ethiopia. It's the northeast coast of Africa. If you have a look in your atlases, you will see it. Ethiopia is what was called Abyssinia in 1935. And it was surrounded by colonies of Britain and France. They surrounded this area, and Italy felt like this would be a great place to develop his empire under Mussolini. So Mussolini felt Abyssinia was good because it was an independent nation, and he thought that Britain and France didn't want to take this country. They didn't want this part of Africa as part of their empire. So he thought it'd be an easy invasion of this area. Okay, and especially because he already had some influence in a countries near called Somaliland and Eritrea, um, which is quite important because then it just makes it easier to get the soldiers there that he needs, right? Who's calling out Sol Campbell? Hey, you lot better not be cussing Sol Campbell, people. Right. Abyssinia was good for the Italians for a few reasons. Um, they had natural resources that Italy needed, and they believed that this would be the perfect place to basically farm these resources. Yeah, yeah, okay. And it was good for grazing animals as well, so it would be a good place to subsidize food in Italy. Also, in 1896, Italy had already tried to take Abyssinia, but they lost. They lost the battle, and Mussolini wanted revenge for this. Yeah. So if the people of Italy would have seen that he gained revenge for the previous loss in 1896 of trying to take Abyssinia, he thought the Italian people would love it. They'd be happy. Yeah. Okay. So he was convinced. He was convinced that he'd be able to take this place. Yeah. Um, and he just thought to himself, listen, if we push ourselves, we can gain an empire in Africa, in the world that rivals that of Britain and France. Okay? And there was an agreement signed between him, France, and Britain. Yeah? And this agreement was called the Stressor Front, right? And it was an agreement that they would unite against Hitler. So this Stressor Front basically was an agreement between Britain, France, and Italy. Stressor Front. Stresa Front. It's an agreement between Italy, France, and Britain that if Germany start running their mouth and get going and trying to take over Europe, then they are going to unite against them and stop them from happening. But because of this Stressor Front agreement, Mussolini thought Britain and France would be happy with him extending his empire in Africa. So he just thought he could do what he wanted. Yeah? Which obviously wasn't the case. So, who's gaming? Oh, I've got to slow down. All right, I'll take it easy. I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll. You know what I get like. You know what I get like. You know what I get like. All right. So, Stressor Front is the reason why Mussolini pushed himself into going into Abyssinia. Yeah, it was an agreement between Britain, France, and Italy. They would work together against Adolf Hitler and the Nazis if need be. And he thought that was the reason that they would, Britain and France, allow him into Africa and create a new empire, a new Roman Empire. Yeah. So how did he do it? What did he do? How did he invade? Right. December 1934, on Mussolini's orders, Italian soldiers clashed with Abyssinian soldiers at a place called Walwal, spelt Walwal. Yeah? Audio's cutting. Can you not hear me? Can you not hear me? Don't make me put my mic on. I look like an idiot. Someone needs to reply. It glitches. Listen, I ain't got Wi-Fi yet. I just moved into the house. You know that because I fell out the van. Fell out the van. So I'm running from a hotspot on my phone, 4G. How's it going now? Is it all right now? A bit better? Oh God, this is a nightmare. Live stream on my phone. Will it work better? I've been doing this for 9 minutes. All right. Okay. So have a quick vote. Have a quick vote. Shall I continue on here? Well, we're wasting time, and then people got to watch this. Right, I'm gonna continue. Sweet. Okay, thanks, Maisie. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue. Right, can we stop talking about football and Zlatan leaving? Bloody Nora, no one cares about Zlatan. Oh my gosh, my hairline is not doing bits. What is going on? Okay, so where was I? Yeah. How did Italy invade Abyssinia? So basically, Mussolini sent his soldiers into Abyssinia, and they had a clash with Abyssinian soldiers at a place called Walwal, Wal, and it's basically on the border of Abyssinia. Okay, 150 Abyssinians and 2 Italians were killed. So you can see who won that battle, yeah? The League of Nations tried to intervene. This weak League of Nations, yeah? Always messing things up. Um, but they found it too difficult to stop Mussolini, mainly because Italy was one of the leading powers in the League of Nations. Italy and Abyssinia were members of the League of Nations, and Abyssinia said to the League of Nations, look, listen, Italy are trying to invade our country. We need some help. But Italy being one of the more prominent countries and also having this new pact with Britain and France, the Stressor Front, Italy knew that they would be able to do what they wanted. And Britain and France decided they weren't really going to intervene. Yeah? January 1935. January 1935. The French Foreign Minister, Laval, met with Mussolini. And when he met with him, they made a secret pact. They made a secret agreement. It's getting a little bit secretive. France promised Italy that they would not interfere with what they were doing in Somaliland, Eritrea, and also in Abyssinia. Okay. However, they saw fit. Okay, but only because of the pact that they made. Yeah, you know the pact that they made, the one I told you about earlier, the Stressor Front. Okay. Now, the League of Nations generally were against this invasion of Abyssinia. Yeah, and Italians didn't listen to them. They bombed villages in Abyssinia, used chemical weapons on them. They terrorized their people into surrendering and accepting Italian control. The only resistance that they met was the small Abyssinian army, and some soldiers in the army were armed with nothing more than spears. Yeah, so it wasn't that difficult to take over this time around. June 1930, no, 30th of June 1935, a man called Haile Selassie was the Abyssinian emperor, and he addressed the Geneva Conference, the League in Geneva, the League of Nations in the place of Geneva. And he said to them, because they failed to deal with Mussolini, and because they failed to deal with Italy basically doing what they wanted, he warned that this could lead to further implications and it could lead to the League of Nations crumbling. Yeah? Um, it was an example of the League of Nations failing its job role of keeping the peace and stopping countries from taking over from other countries. I wish I was reading off Wikipedia, it would be much easier. So, the League of Nations failed in stopping Mussolini from invading Abyssinia. Okay? It was an example of a failure, a major failure, because despite Abyssinia being part of the League of Nations, they didn't listen and didn't intervene, mainly because of the pact that they had with Britain and France and the secret agreement, which everybody found out about afterwards, which was a big deal. So League of Nations has now failed, and the question I've got is, I need to answer for you is, why does the failure in the League of Nations part, dealing with the Abyssinian crisis, how do they connect? How do they create a cause for the Second World War? Well, it's very simple. Very simple. League of Nations didn't deal with the Abyssinian crisis. Mussolini was allowed to do what he wanted. Adolf Hitler was in the background watching, seeing what's going on, and he realized that, this League of Nations is weak. I can do what I want. I can take over if I want to. Any country I want, the League of Nations is not going to get involved. Yeah? So why was the Abyssinian crisis a cause for the Second World War? It was a cause for the Second World War because it enabled Adolf Hitler to gain in confidence in the idea of being able to take over other countries for Lebensraum without any intervention from the powers in Europe who basically make up the League of Nations. It's that simple. I'm going to tell you one more time. The Abyssinian crisis is a cause for the Second World War because it enabled Adolf Hitler to gain in confidence in the idea that he will not have any opposition against his idea of invading other countries to gain Lebensraum, which is living space. He wanted the living space to improve Germany's power, economy, and self sufficiency. Lebensraum allowed this to happen because he would go and take over other countries, take their resources, take their land, and make Germany better because they would just be part of Germany. Does that make sense? Would I say this was a main cause of the Second World War? Um, no, I wouldn't say this is one of the main causes, personally. It is a significant cause because it allowed Adolf Hitler to be more confident, you know. But would I say it's I wouldn't say it's one of the main causes. It did cripple the League of Nations, but I wouldn't say it's one of the main causes. No, I wouldn't. Um, I mean, they didn't really they didn't really do a lot until after 1935 in Germany, regarding rearmament and taking over other places in Europe like Sudetenland, you know. But for me, the most significant cause would be the Treaty of Versailles, the invasion of Poland, and Adolf Hitler becoming Chancellor of Germany and gaining power. They are the most significant ones. 11B did the lesson today. We went through three of them. The other class tomorrow, 11A, are going to go through them as well. The thing is, though, they might come up. They might come up in the exam. I'm hoping that a question on this comes up in the exam, but I don't know which one they will ask you to talk about. Yeah. So in the mock exam, you had Nazi Soviet Pact. I'm pretty sure in the summer, if it comes up, that's not going to come up. Yeah. All right. Let's have a look at these questions. Uh, is Abyssinia in Ethiopia? Yes, it is. Abyssinia is Ethiopia. Ethiopia became a country. It's Abyssinia basically renamed as Ethiopia. Yeah. Um, what else? Am I in tomorrow? I hope you're asking me. Yes, I am. What else is there? Eddie, no FS. Oh, okay. What were the three main causes? Listen, there's lots of causes. There's about 10 main causes for the Second World War. The three that I think are the most significant, and the three that I definitely want you all to learn, no matter what. So if this question comes up, you're going to talk about those three. Are the Treaty of Versailles being created and punishing Germany, and the German population wanting to get back in. Adolf Hitler becoming Chancellor of Germany, gaining power, and basically being able to implement his Nazi policies, and one of them being Lebensraum, which means gaining living. That one's important because Germany basically took over. Yeah. And then my third one would be Germany invading Poland. That is very significant because uh, Neville Chamberlain, the Prime Minister of Britain, told Adolf Hitler, if you step your soldiers into Poland and try to invade Poland, we will declare war. The reason why that is because they had a special pact with Poland that they would protect each other in case of invasion. And they needed to basically stick to that pact. They needed to honor it. So they told, told Adolf Hitler about this and said to him, listen, if you do this, that's it, we're at war. Adolf Hitler did it, they were at war. When they went into Poland, Britain declared war. And he warned him about this after Adolf Hitler was trying to take over Sudetenland in Czechoslovakia. Yeah. So it is very important. So those are my three. Treaty of Versailles, Adolf Hitler becoming the leader of Germany, and invasion of Poland. Abyssinian Crisis that I've done now is an extra one for you to understand in case it comes up in the exam. Yeah. Um, the Manchurian Crisis, which I might do as well. That one is another example of a cause for the Second World War. Nazi-Soviet Pact, which we'll go over hopefully next week. Yeah, these things all together. So I don't know what one's going to come up. Yeah, I don't get why they took Poland. They wanted to take Poland, Jacob. The Nazis wanted to take Poland because they believed that it gave them good access to the sea. It allowed them to control that part of the sea, the Scandinavian Sea. It gave them good control of the borders with Russia, and they just thought it would give them something called Lebensraum. Lebensraum is living space. Adolf Hitler promised the German people, if you elect us, the Nazi Party, we will give you more living space and more resources. Poland was one of the countries that he wanted for Lebensraum, living space, and he wanted to take their resources. How do you take another country's resources without any opposition? You make that country part of your own country. So you annex it. You annex it. So when you annex it means you take over another country. Okay? Um, right. Anyone else? Any other questions? Look at these people. David Hall, you talking rubbish. You really are. Any other questions? Any other questions about why the Abyssinian crisis was a cause for the Second World War? Um, no more questions. Da, 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 da. Eddie, what are you talking about, mate? Kick David Hall. All right, let's kick David Hall. Yeah, I didn't have David Hall on my register. Who's David Hall? David Hall gone. Da, da, da. There we go. David Hall is now gone. Lovely. Um, David Hall's gone. Okay. So, Streisman, forget about Streisman. That's a different question. Yeah. Do we need to know any other causes, or is four enough? Right. You need to know all of the causes, but the four that I've given you. So the question's going to ask you if it comes up. Was this particular cause of the Second World War the most important one? You need at least three more to back it up. So those three that I've taught you today, mate, are the three that I want you to use. So you know them in the most detail. All the others, you just need to know them. Yeah? All the others, you just need to know them. So Abyssinian Crisis, the Manchurian Crisis, we're going to go over them. Nazi Soviet Pact, you'll go over that, but I don't think that's going to come up in the exam. The ones I think, if they does come up in the exam, will be Abyssinian Crisis will probably come up, but in a separate question. And I think the invasion of the Rhineland will probably come up. I've got a funny feeling that's going to come up this year. We'll have a look. But I am going to go over them. I'm going to make sure you know all of the main ones. Okay. So far now we've done 4, and there's 2 more that we've done 4. No, we did. No, so far we've done 5, and there's 2 more that I want to go through. Yeah. So the 5 that we've done are Treaty of Versailles. We've done Adolf Hitler coming into power. We've also done Neville Chamberlain appeasing Hitler. We've done the invasion of Poland. But this is the class. The rest of the class will do this tomorrow. And we've also just done Abyssinian Crisis. So the ones left to do, we've got Manchurian Crisis. We've got to do that one. And the other one we've got to do is the the remilitarization of the Rhineland. We're going to do them hopefully tomorrow and on Tuesday. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Why did Germany want Lebensraum? Okay, Ferdy. Germany wanted Lebensraum. The German people wanted the German economy to be improved again. They wanted to be the most powerful country in Europe again. After the Depression, so the Depression happened. We had basically Germany really struggling to deal with having to pay reparations and basically going into hyperinflation. So their money became worthless. Hyperinflation is the value of money has decreased and the price of products has increased. So therefore, it's hyperinflation. They're not going to be able to buy any products with their money. Everybody became poor. Jobs were lost because the businesses couldn't pay the people. It was an absolute mess. People died of starvation. It was crazy. It's horrible. Yeah. The German people, because they were going through so much hardship, said, we need a political government that will get us out of this situation. So what did they do? They began to look to the left of the political spectrum and the right of the political spectrum, but the extreme. So the extreme on both sides, you've got the Nazis and the communists. They were the 2 extreme political parties in Germany at the time. The Nazis promised everybody that we will rebuild this country and we will give you Lebensraum, which is living space. And in that living space, we will give you the resources that you need to make your lives better and to make Germany better. So what did they need Lebensraum for? They needed Lebensraum for the resources to redevelop their economy. So that's what they wanted it for. Yeah. What was the Rhineland and the one that got demilitarized? Hold on. Nazi Soviet Pact came up in the mock and I had no clue. Right, Yoki. The Nazi Soviet Pact, we're going to go over in class because I'm going to need the whiteboard for that one. But basically, it was a pact between the Nazis and the Soviets. Everybody was in shock. They couldn't believe it. And because of this pact, Adolf Hitler basically thought that he could do what he wanted. Yeah? That's a quick summary. We'll do it in more detail. I don't think it's going to come up in the exam in the summer because the mock exam you lot did is the one that the exam board put on their website as a practice paper. So I don't think they're going to put questions in the practice paper that are going to come up in the summer. They're giving us a little hint at what might come up. So Nazi Soviet Pact, I don't think it's going to come up, but I'm still going to go over it next week in class, and if I can tomorrow with the other half of the class. Yeah. We've done Lebensraum, Rhineland. Okay, cool. So you lot want to know about Rhineland. So this is a tricky one. Yeah, everybody finds this one difficult. They find it hard to get their heads around it. Where's my pen? All right. So let's see. Okay. So what I'm going to do is the Rhineland. The Rhineland was demilitarized because of the Treaty of Versailles. Yeah? So in the Treaty of Versailles, Germany had to sign it, and it's a punishment for World War One. Oh, my time's a bit bent. Let's straighten that up. Um, now, in this punishment, there were a number of things. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that because that's a different revision session. But one of them was demilitarizing the Rhineland. Now, the Rhineland was an area in between um, France and Germany. It was actually a place that was part of Germany, and it is the border of France and Germany. So this area is where the Germany's border touches France. So if I was to draw, I'm just going to quickly draw a picture of France. Count to 30 and it'll be done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Right, okay, cool. So it's a bit back to front. That is France, yeah? Right? And that one is Germany. Okay? Now, this area, like that part, that part of Germany that I've just sort of done a scribbled on is known as the Rhineland. Now, as you can see, it's where Germany's border touches France. Now, France wanted that area to be demilitarized. Actually, it wanted it as a separate country, but it got demilitarized so that it gave France a buffer zone, a bumper zone for protection in case Germany decided they wanted to invade them again. Right? So then that would mean they would have enough time to prepare themselves to get their defenses in place, ready for the onslaught, ready for the oncoming attack from Germany. Okay? So this place was demilitarized in the Treaty of Versailles. Now, Adolf Hitler and the Nazis promised the German people, if you vote for us in the elections, we will destroy the Treaty of Versailles. Well, one of the terms of the treaty was the demilitarization of the Rhineland. So Adolf Hitler was like, you know what? The German people voted for us to get rid of the Treaty of Versailles. So what we're going to do, we're going to march our soldiers into the Rhineland. So he remilitarized the Rhineland. Now, he told his generals when they're walking into the Rhineland, if you get any hostile opposition from the French, turn back straight away. Why did he do that? Why did he do that? The reason why he did that is because Germany were not ready to have a war with France. They weren't ready to have a war with Britain. They weren't ready to have a war with Russia because they didn't have the means to do it yet. It wasn't really until about 1938, 1937, 1938 that they were ready to take on France. Yeah. So this was sort of Hitler calling the bluff of France, seeing what they would do. Why is the remilitarization a cause for the Second World War, they were thinking? The reason why it's a cause for the Second World War is because it enabled Hitler and the Nazis to become confident, yeah, to then realize France are scared of us. We can do what we want. And because of that, they then went on to try and annex other parts of Europe, yeah, which then led to eventually them trying to trying to take over Poland, which then caused Britain to declare war on Germany, and there you go, the Second World War began. Drop the mic. Boom. Does that make sense? don't know. I don't even know who asked me that question. Um, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Any? Who said no? Eddie, we're talking about no, you plonker. Right. Um, can I recap the Abyssinian Crisis again? You're gonna have to rewind it, mate. Got to play it again. I'm not doing it again. Any other questions? So now we've basically done the remilitarization of the Rhineland as well. So really, all we've got left is the Manchurian crisis to do. So I can do that one next week in our revision session on the Monday at lunchtime or the Tuesday at lunchtime. Okay, so you can come to that. You can't rewind it. It will stay on there, mate. It will come up as an actual video that you can play again. Oh, Kev's 3 minutes delay. Ah, longer. Um, any other questions? Any other questions? So far, we've done most of the cause of the Second World War. Just really, we've got to do the Manchurian crisis, and then we're done. Yeah. Um, I'm quite pleased. I'm quite pleased how quickly we got through that. Is there anything else that you lot want me to clear up about the Abyssinian crisis and why it was the cause of the Second World War, or the Rhineland, the other one that we went through? Is there anything that you want me to clear up? What do I think of Millwall? I don't like Millwall. Don't like Millwall. Yeah, they're a decent side, but I don't really rate them that much. Okay, Joachim. Can Hitler speak English? He could actually speak English. English was one of the languages that he respected. Do you know what language he didn't like? He hated French. Hated French. He liked he liked English. The reason why he liked English is because the British royal family derived from Germany. They had German connections, German roots. So he looked upon the English as potential German allies. That's why he liked the English. He liked their way of life. He wanted England to unite with Germany. And he did approach the royal family, and we did come close to joining up with the Germans. We did. That's a different story, that's a different subject, but we did. But thankfully for me, being mixed race, we didn't join up with the Nazis. Thank goodness, because let's be honest, I wouldn't exist. Um, anyone else? What language did all the prime ministers speak to each other with at the Treaty of Versailles? They had interpreters. So, if they spoke, and most of them did speak English, but if they didn't understand English, they would have an interpreter. Yeah, makes sense. Anything else? Okay, cool. So it's actually 6 o'clock. I was on at 5, but all of you lot arrived late. But I'm not going to give you timeouts. Next week's session, I'm thinking we do something on Elizabeth, because I've got some. I'm going to have some of my year nines getting involved in this as well, and I feel like our Elizabeth stuff needs to be redeveloped, re-strengthened. Um, just an extra session, yeah. Um, do you lot feel like you're going to be able to make it in on Monday and Tuesday for our lunchtime revision sessions? Please tell me a yes. Don't let me down. Make sure you're there. 15, 20 minutes. That's what I'm asking. If you're worried about getting your lunch, come to me. I'll give you a lunch pass so that then you can get your lunch early. You can just come jump in. You can do a quick session. Every session that we do from today until your exam in June, all add up. All add up. We're going to squeeze in almost a term's worth of work into one lunchtime on a Monday, Tuesday, and our session after school. All right? Don't worry, the camera will be better next time, Mr. Kev, because Friday I've got my broadband fiber being installed. What you saying? Man, like, cheers! All right, on that note, I'll speak to you all later on. Look after yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow in class. Stay safe. Peace.